Looking for a creative outlet? Do you want to develop the artist within? The heritage crafts aren't just in the museum. Plenty of people just like you are putting a modern spin on these traditional skills. One craft that is making a resurgence today is the art of rug hooking. These original creations are made by pulling narrow strips of cloth, usually wool, through a woven fabric, usually burlap with some form of hook, once upon a time, a bent nail. Designs for the rugs can be commercially produced or created by the artist producing the piece. Rug hooking started as a necessity to help cover the cold floors in winter. Today, you are more apt to see a rug being displayed as a wall hanging.
Traditional rug hooking, as we do it here in Ontario, was probably brought here from the New England states. And at that time, rugs were very rare. There were no machine-made rugs. So if you wanted something for your floor, and very often in the early days your floors were cold, you had to make it yourself. And also you were very, very limited in what you had for supplies. So the very first rugs were a true folk art. The people would go to usually their feed sacks and get some burlap. Also burlap was used for wrapping at that time. And they would take the burlap and maybe a piece of charcoal and draw their own patterns. And they would cut up the old used fabric, recycled fabric, into strips. And they would pull it through the backing on making loops. And that is the skill that we still use today in everything that we do. And it's just bringing up loops through an open weave fabric. In the early days, it would very often be a family thing to do, only in the winter time. There was never enough time to sit and do any type of craft in the summer. But a whole family could sit around a frame, and everybody would have a certain job probably. And I'm sure every family was different as well.
When machines were introduced to manufacture rugs, the craft of rug making soon fell out of fashion. It's the individual artists and craft organizations that keep the craft alive and turned it into an art form.
After the war and all of the automation, and there was a bit more money, and all of a sudden there was all of these rugs that you could buy, factory-made rugs. Then all of a sudden, people who did crafts were considered thrifty, and that was like almost a bad word. So a lot of crafts went into the back burners in those days, and it's only been quite recently, that there's a large number of women who do the traditional crafts just for the love of them.
Because rug hooking follows an outline, there are a lot of commercial patterns available to the craftsperson. Still today, it is more popular for the artist to create their own patterns and designs.
In the last few years, I think people are expressing themselves much more openly, and they wanted to use it more as an art form. And so nowadays, if you go to a group of rug hookers, you will see in one corner there might be somebody doing a very traditional piece, and somebody sitting right beside them who is working in what you would probably call abstract. It's still a schooled method of doing their work, but it's not as structured, and they use vibrant colors. They're using a lot more fibers than they used to. We used, originally, when I started, you only used wool. And wool was really a great fiber to work with because it dyes so easily, and you can do a lot of your own hand dyeing and get great effects. But nowadays, when the girls go shopping, they go for color and texture. And they'll use absolutely anything if it's the right color and it's the right texture. So the work today has a lot more variety in it. Well, you get your ideas from everything that you see. You might see a sketch in a book or something and might give you an idea, and you just go from there. The rug I'm working on right now is for my new granddaughter. And of course it's got her name on it. And I just went from there, all the things that she's going to love to do. There's inspiration absolutely everywhere. You just have to open your eyes to see it. And One of my favorite kinds of rugs is ones that tell stories. And we all have stories, and it's great to be able to tell your story in a rug.
Rug hooking is a craft born out of using recycled materials to create another use for it, and it is still considered an affordable craft to start. The basic tools and materials are simple.
Compared to a lot of crafts, it's not terribly expensive. You do need a wooden hoop, a 14-inch wooden hoop. It's the same hoop as the quilters would use, and a hook. And there's all different styles of hooks, and you hold them differently, and there's no one way to hold your hook. If you were out shopping for one, it's best to try several before you decide on which one you want to choose. And after that, if you're doing and cut it by hand. However, if you really get into this, you'll want to buy a cutter, and a cutting machine is fairly expensive. Nowadays, the ladies use a lot more different fabrics, so mostly we shop at thrift stores now, and usually you can find what you need.
Another attraction to rug hooking is that just about anyone can do it. It is a craft where people can see finished results right away.
It's a skill, so anytime you learn a new skill, it takes time. But anybody can start at any age and any time. Some people can learn from picking up a book at their library. I don't think that's any fun. I would prefer going to a class, and then you're learning with another group of people, and you also have the immediate feedback from a teacher. And it's one little skill you have to learn, so it's fairly quick to pick that up. And then after that, then you just have fun working with colors and textures and moving them around.
Like most crafts, once somebody becomes accomplished in rug hooking, they may have the chance to supplement their income.
Most people that start rug hooking today, it's for a hobby and to make things for their homes. Like in my case, if I see a craft and I really want it and I can't afford it, then I learn how to do it. So there's people out there like that, and you would never get into rug hooking to make a living at it, but there have been a few people that have enjoyed it so much and have had such a special creative edge that they certainly add to their finances. And there actually are a few people in Canada that make their living through rug hooking.
With the time and effort involved in creating a finished piece, there is a sense of accomplishment and pride when a piece is finally ready for display.
It's a really special feeling when you have designed something from the start. You got the idea and you put it on burlap and you got all the colors together and all the textures together, and you put the whole thing together, and you worked on it for many, many hours. When you actually finish, for me, it's a bit of a letdown because I put so much into my work, and that's always my favorite piece until I start the next one.
For more information on rug hooking, or if you would like to take a course in one of the textile crafts, check out the Simcoe County Arts and Crafts Association website at www.scaca.ca.